Also, the Supercharger network is expanding. There's a new deal with EG Group, which is a gas station group, a convenience store operator. The agreement allows EG Group to purchase Tesla Supercharger hardware that'll be deployed under the EG brand. It's really the second major deal in just a few weeks, because there was the deal also with BP that, $100 million deal worth of supercharger hardware for deployment at BP gas stations. A lot of headlines. Can always count on Elon Musk and Tesla to make the headlines. Today, no exception.
Yeah, and a 4% move, to your point, a lot of headlines. That wasn't one story. I mean, there were many stories in there, and all really interesting. And they were all, in this case, mostly beneficial to Tesla.
The agreements between the UAW and the big three automakers that, of course, ended that, 6-week-long strike may not actually be a done deal. Ford workers at the Louisville assembly and Kentucky truck plants voted against the proposed contract late on Sunday. The UAW there, the local UAW unit, said 55% of production workers voted against the deal, while 69% of skilled trade workers voted for the new contract. We learned that in a post on Facebook. And then UAW workers at GM's Flint, Michigan plant voted to reject the tentative contract agreement as well. That happened at the end of last week.
In this video, a hugely positive day for Tesla and an absolute catastrophe for their so-called competition. What's new?
Let's bring in Kevin Green and let's talk some Tesla. One of the bright spots in the mega caps this morning. KG, good to see you. So the Cybertruck, it's got a little bit of a string attached to it.
Yeah, we continue to get a lot of updates when it comes to the Cybertruck. Now, it is expected to actually start deliveries on November 30th of this year, but we are also getting some updates around their terms and conditions when it comes to purchasing this vehicle. Right now, it is being reported that they are basically requiring those that buy this vehicle that they cannot sell it within a year unless receiving official approval or written approval from Tesla. And those that actually do try to sell it to third parties could actually face up to $50,000 when it comes to a form of a lawsuit and things of that nature here. So a very interesting development, to say the least. Now, it's not surprising we are actually seeing this type of action here. We have seen with really new rollouts for Tesla, not only just Tesla, but for some other cars, sometimes we see this huge influx in demand when it comes to the vehicle, and then we see this reselling on third-party platforms at pretty high prices. So I think Tesla really wants to try to dampen that down in order to prevent consumers from being discouraged, if you will, from trying to put in orders for the truck. That has been an issue that we have seen in the past when it comes to certain vehicles, that the secondary market was priced so high, some consumers actually then kind of held off on trying to purchase a vehicle here. So that's kind of where we are at right now when it comes to this particular story. I'm not sure from a legal basis if it's going to really hold up in court or not. I think that's a part of public opinion at this point.
Now, just for the record, this isn't the first time companies have had a similar clause on the sale, purchase and reselling of a new vehicle. Of course, something only stands up legally until it doesn't. But clearly this is an indication that Tesla has an insane number of reservations for Cybertruck. It's going to take them a long time to ramp up to volume production. They don't want customers who get frustrated having to wait a few years, turning to the secondary market and paying 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 69 times the price for the Cybertruck just to get their hands on one. That said, 12 months after you've taken delivery of your Cybertruck, it's still game on. And given the fact that Tesla currently has 2+ million reservations for Cybertruck, and the fact that they're aiming for initial production once ramped, which will easily take a year or more, in my opinion, plus I don't know anything about anything, so take that for what it's worth, not much, there's a huge discrepancy between number of reservations and number of vehicles Tesla will be producing, Cybertrucks, per year. So even 12 months down the track after you've taken delivery, there's probably going to be an opportunity to sell these things and make a gigantic profit. Unless, of course, nobody's interested in a Cybertruck and all the reservations suddenly don't follow through, which is about as likely as a Tesla short seller getting the help they need to deal with their issues.
But a very, very, very interesting development, to say the least. We are seeing the stock up about over 0.5% in the session today. So nice, small little rebound here in the session.
Okay. This is a bizarre, I'm not a car owner. I don't think that's normal, right? That you I've never even heard of it.
It's not normal from what I know. But once again, I mean, there might be stipulations like that for very high-end cars. I'm not too sure about it. Once again, when you're talking about the legal basis, I'm not a lawyer, so it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we probably will have an individual or two that try to test these limits to see if they're able to flip these cars. But once again, there's some there's downward effects that we could see if we do see a very hot secondary market, Oliver, that could also cause maybe potentially the input goods for these Cybertrucks to go up. That could also hit Tesla. Once again, you can have the discouragement from consumers that may look at the secondary market and say, look, this is way too expensive for me. The backlog as far as trying to get a truck could be very long for me as well. So there's a bunch of different factors why I think Tesla's trying to implement this. I'm just not sure how effective it's going to be if and or when it does get tested in court.
Now, here's an idea. Just saying it now. So if/when it happens, nobody will be surprised. Or I can just go, hey, isn't that funny? I kind of said that might happen. Given the fact that Tesla does have a stupidly large backlog of reservations for Cybertruck, it's going to take them a long time to ramp production. What are the odds that the first version produced will be the most profitable? The beast mode Cybertruck. Well, it's pretty obvious. You never know though, but I'd be willing to say that's at least a 69 plus 42% chance. Exactly, it's 100. More importantly, however, what are the odds that Tesla may incentivize consumers and say, hey, if you happen to opt for the FSD package, you'll take delivery of your Cybertruck before people who don't opt for the FSD package. What are the odds? And the reason I mention this is I think it's fair for consumers, for Tesla to give them the opportunity, given the fact that some customers may be waiting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years to take delivery of a Cybertruck, to give some customers an option who would like to take delivery a little bit sooner and have the means, look, sure, I'll upgrade to the beast mode version if it means I can take delivery sooner. I just want the damn truck. Now again, I don't know if this is going to happen, but it'd be pretty strange if Tesla doesn't create a means by which consumers who are waiting in line and going to have to wait literal years don't at least have the choice to move forward in the line if they can cough up some extra cash. And this wouldn't be Tesla trying to screw customers over. This would be Tesla trying to help customers who have the means to take delivery of their truck sooner rather than later. Seems fair to me. The alternative is not give people this option and then just have a bunch of really frustrated customers waiting multiple years to take delivery of their vehicle they reserved, possibly all the way back in 2019.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly inspire confidence, does it?
I mean, on the other side of that, you could say, yes, it probably does, because there's so much demand that is out there that they're trying to really protect their brand. And
once again, Kevin Green to the rescue with some logic and reason. He's right. This is actually a very positive sign for Tesla and the insane amount of demand they have for their existing Cybertruck. Why else would they have such a clause? Think about it. What possible reason other than, well, we have an insane number of reservations, we can't produce them all, it's going to take years, we don't want insanely high priced Cybertrucks on the seconds market. What other reason beside that would they have for this clause? I'm all ears.
They won't take action unless they have a good reason for it. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think right now it is just to prevent those that have been on this wait list from flipping these vehicles, once again, creating this chaotic type of market. We've seen this type of stuff happen in the past. And I think it's just trying to be able to also provide a little bit of price stability. So that's where I believe that this method's going. I'm not sure, once again, how effective it's going to be, but there's definitely a reason for it. And
sure.
We'll see. Once again, it's going to be a very interesting development, to say the least.
Kind of a one-sided Tesla reason. Maybe I'm a consumer sucker, but I always like those ads that are like, try it, 30 days, and if you don't like it, you can send it back. It's like a mattress. Imagine if the mattress ad was like, if you don't like our mattress, and you try to sell it, we're gonna freaking sue you. I wouldn't be buying that mattress, okay, maybe the car is different here. The thing is also we don't really know too many of the details yet, about all the capabilities and specs. When the reviews start coming in and people will talk about what it can do or what it's capable of, because this is a really, really big thing for them. I mean, they're arguably behind the competition now with the release date of an EV SUV, and now this is their big growth opportunity to catch up and have something fresh and new, like a new model, a new invention. We haven't had that for Tesla in a while, so I just don't know if this is getting off on the right foot, man.
What the? Is this guy high? Has the producer been in his ear? Hey, we need a little bit more fun today. What is he talking about? Now, first of all, the analogy of a mattress versus a Cybertruck, don't want to rain on anyone's parade here, but You actually need to use a mattress to know how it feels and how well you sleep on a mattress. You don't actually need to use a vehicle to know its specifications, its performance, its features, its tech, especially if you're already an existing Tesla customer and or you see some of the demos that have been done and will be shown at Tesla's Cybertruck delivery event. It's not the same thing. One thing you physically need to feel, the other is a little different. When I recently bought a gaming laptop and I didn't go down to a store so I could stroke the keyboard and caress the monitor, the screen, and fondle a mouse before deciding what I wanted to use. Just like, okay, sweet. The specs do, okay, great, cool. High refresh rate, sick graphics card, bam, done. Now, or maybe I'm just weird. I don't know. You guys think it's a reasonable analogy, the mattress, and send it back after 30 days if you don't like the way it feels versus a Cybertruck? In fact, here's a better question. How many vehicles do you know of, as a percentage of all vehicles ever sold, had a 30-day money-back guarantee? If you don't like it, just take it back. I mean, I'm sure there's been some, but as a percentage of overall vehicle sales, I don't think this would be particularly common. How far does it go? How fast is it? How safe is it? What can it do? Okay, great, cool. I know the specs. I don't really need a trial now.
Look, so I would say for the Cybertruck, there's going to be a lot of fanfare for it. There's going to be some enthusiasts that do get in line. But I don't think that Tesla is thinking that this is going to be a cornerstone of their business in the next year or 2 years, Oliver. So let's, we want to definitely kind of keep the perspective in mind here. They still want to be able to attack the EV car market in itself. The Cybertruck is going to see a lot of demand to start off. But once again, I'm not sure if it's going to be this huge driver where it's going to be taking, vehicle sales from GM or Ford when it comes to the F-150 or the, Silverado, things of that nature. So I think it's going to be a nice little touch, to say the least. They're going to test some new technology. They're going to get some hype around this truck, and that could also drive sales of other vehicles. We've seen the same type of strategy being implemented in the past for some of these companies as well. I think that's going to be the key area. I don't think this is going to be a huge driver on the top or bottom line in the next year or 2 years, just from a capacity standpoint, from a production standpoint, and then also from a scenario where the EV truck market's still very small, to say the least. So there's not a lot of options that are out there, but I'm not sure if there's going to be this huge influx of demand going in for the Cybertruck on day one.
Got it. All right. Okay. Well said. Thanks, Kevin. Tesla shares up right now, just shy of 2%.
There's quite a few headlines around Tesla today. Let's start with the Cybertruck. Just noting Tesla shares up about 4% regardless of all of these headlines. But the Cybertruck launch is fast approaching. It feels like we've been waiting forever for the Cybertruck to actually be here. November 30th is the day. Also, the Supercharger network is expanding. There's a new deal with EG Group, which is a gas station group, a convenience store operator. The agreement allows EG Group to purchase Tesla Supercharger hardware that'll be deployed under the EG brand. It's really the second major deal in just a few weeks, because there was the deal also with BP that $100 million deal worth of supercharger hardware for deployment at BP gas stations.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I was just reading some of my previous posts on X following the announcement initially on October 27th that BP would be buying $100 million worth of Tesla superchargers to install at BP locations throughout their network in the United States. At the time, I posted, others will follow. Well, less than a month later, turns out the first other has followed, and ladies and gentlemen, they will not be the last. This is going to be a huge, huge boon for Tesla. From Sawyer Merritt, more on this deal. British petrol station, as in petroleum, as in gasoline, just in case you guys didn't know. Giant EG Group just announced it will buy superchargers from Tesla. Again, just think about this for a moment. Remember previously, and actually still happening, Tesla's so-called competition, internal combustion engine vehicle manufacturers literally buying zero-emission vehicle credits because they couldn't and or didn't produce enough electric vehicles and were facing catastrophically large fines. So these companies were literally paying Tesla hundreds of millions, in some cases billions of dollars, to build gigafactories to ultimately put them out of business. That seemed a little bit insane, and it actually happened. Well, this is almost round two. We now have gas stations, petrol stations globally, not asking Tesla to build superchargers at their sites. No. Paying Tesla for the privilege of putting Tesla superchargers on their sites. Now Tesla is having another company pay to build out their own charging network. Of course, the reason for this is it's existential for these service stations, gasoline stations. If they don't put Tesla chargers on their sites, those sites will no longer be viable in a few years. The penny's starting to drop and they realize, well, it's either this or go bankrupt. So we prefer not to go bankrupt. So let's give Tesla hundreds of millions of dollars to put their chargers on our sites. Isn't that crazy? It is the first deal of its kind entered into by Tesla with a third-party charge point operator in Europe. EG wants to expand from around 600 chargers currently to over 20,000 across 3,600 locations. The chargers will be available to all electric vehicle drivers. I mean, as we know, everyone's adopting Tesla's charging standard, so this is par for the course. In the future, the place where anyone with a brain charges their Tesla vehicle is anywhere that has a Tesla supercharger, which is going to be literally everywhere. Not just at Tesla's own supercharger stations, but also every gas station on the planet will also have Tesla superchargers. Many hotels will, and you get the point, right? They're going to be everywhere. Quote, the chargers will be branded EV Point and will leverage Tesla's industry-leading technology. The value of the transaction is undisclosed, but ladies and gentlemen, it's got to be huge. Funnily enough, no doubt these numbers will start flowing onto Tesla's balance sheet and income statements, and you get it, right? We'll probably get an understanding of how meaningful and significant the contribution from these kind of investments are within the next few quarters. And remember, others will follow.
Under the BP brand, so that Supercharger network continues to expand, could be giving a boost to shares today. And then there are also reports that India is considering slashing tariffs on imported EVs as Tesla explores setting up a plant in the country. Bloomberg is reporting that the Indian government is working on tax cuts for imports of completely built EVs for up to 5 years. It's also devising a plan to provide concessions on duties for global auto manufacturers to import battery-powered vehicles if they eventually agree on building them in India. So, Financial Times is reporting that the Tesla government, that Tesla asked the Indian government for initial tariff cuts that may reduce customs duties by 70% for cars under 40,000 and 100% for vehicles over 40,000. So we'll see how that plays out. It's just reports right now, but a lot of headlines. Can always count on Elon Musk and Tesla to make the headlines. Today, no exception.
Yeah, and a 4% move, to your point, a lot of headlines. That wasn't one story. I mean, there were many stories in there, and all really interesting. And they were all, in this case, mostly beneficial to Tesla.
For what it's worth, Tesla stock currently at a $701 billion market cap. Bit of context, however, after the supposedly great day for Tesla, if we rewind the clock, as I record this, Tesla stock today currently available for less than it was in late 2020. December 18th, 2020 until today, almost 3 years. Tesla stock, while it's been a very bumpy ride during that time, has effectively gone nowhere. And boy, am I glad about this. I've been accumulating hand over fist. I didn't think I'd be buying at these prices, but I also didn't think interest rates would increase at unprecedented rates. And here we are. Very thankful for the discount. I continue to pray daily to the flying spaghetti monster that the sale on Tesla stock will continue, because I ain't done buying yet. In fact, I've still got a long way to get to my goal. So, a worthwhile question is, what's happened to Tesla the company over the last approximately 3 years? If Tesla stock was a great proxy for the company's performance, then the last 3 years would suggest that Tesla hasn't increased sales, revenue, market share, improved their technology, hasn't invested heavily. They've done nothing except remain in stasis for 3 entire years. Obviously, that's not the case. So the lesson we can learn here, ladies and gentlemen, is that the stock market, and I use the term loosely because really the stock market is just the collective buying and selling activity of all participants in the market, over the short term can be a voting machine, very sentiment driven, macro driven, but over the long term does tend to be a weighing machine. If we wind the clock back to Tesla's IPO, company's IPO closing day price of $1.28 per share split adjusted, stock up almost 18,000% since, kind of makes the point. I posted on X overnight, just a thought. And I really did mean this. I will never understand people who don't invest with a 10 plus year time horizon at a minimum. And I do mean this literally. I'm just not wired to think short term. I mean, you guys might have heard me from when I started this YouTube channel saying I'll see you in 10 years, check back in a decade. Literally. Exactly. It's just I'm not wired to think short term. However, some people are. I mean, I can't relate to short-term investors, using the term loosely there, just like I can't relate to people who live paycheck to paycheck. I can't even imagine. I just can't put myself in that mind space at all. It's not possible for me. Those folks are aliens to me. Some additional context on screen now. This is roughly where I began buying Tesla stock, early 2016, just before the Model 3 was unveiled. And the reason predominantly that I wasn't buying Tesla stock before then was from 2010, basically since Tesla's IPO, until 2015, I was accumulating real estate hand over fist until the banks wouldn't lend me any more money. And once they stopped giving me more money, I was like, great, well, time to start buying some stocks now. At the time, split adjusted Tesla stock was 13, 14, 15, 16 bucks a share, somewhere around that level. But that was a little over 7 years ago. I was always thinking Tesla at least a 10 plus year horizon, and because I have a brain, I use my brain and I continually reassess. I have a moving time horizon. How far out into the future can I see? My initial thesis was Tesla, well, they're going to dominate electric vehicles. That's extremely obvious right now. It's going to be at least a 10-year window before that plays out. However, along the way, Tesla has illuminated more possibilities. Autonomy, robotaxis, software, expansion of the charging network, humanoid robots, artificial intelligence, Dojo as a service. The scope and scale of what Tesla's been going after and is likely to accomplish has massively increased. So I'm now looking out 20 plus years into the future and thinking, bro, they are just getting started. Which again is why I continue to buy the stock hand over fist while other people are panicking, crying in the corner and selling. Or getting really mad, butthurt. Elon's bad. Elon, stop having opinions. The stock didn't go up fast enough. Fuck you, Elon. Make the stock go up, Elon. I hate you, Elon. I'm selling the stock. It didn't go up fast enough, Elon. Now back to my earlier point. Just for context, as I mentioned, I first began buying real estate in 2010. My investment horizon for real estate when I began buying was a minimum 30, if not 40 to 50 year horizon. Literally, multi-decade. And just for the record, I haven't sold any real estate, held on to everything I bought beginning in 2010, and plan on holding that stuff indefinitely. I've made a significant return on my capital, and I mean astronomical. The power of leverage. They continue to increase cash flow and increase in value over time. No reason to sell. Sound familiar?
That being said, we'll turn our attention to story number 2, and this is the UAW. And you thought maybe it was done, folks. Maybe not so fast.
Yes, we're taking a look at Ford and GM shares today. They are mixed. GM modestly higher, Ford down by a little less than 1%. But the agreements between the UAW and the big three automakers that, of course, ended that, 6-week-long strike may not actually be a done deal. Ford workers at the Louisville assembly and Kentucky truck plants voted against the proposed contract late on Sunday. The UAW there, the local UAW unit, said 55% of production workers voted against the deal, while 69% of skilled trade workers voted for the new contract. We learned that in a post on Facebook. And then UAW workers at GM's Flint, Michigan plant voted to reject the tentative contract agreement as well. That happened at the end of last week.
Oh, hey, it's me again. Reading another post on X again. Is there a cure for narcissism? Posted this back on September 15th after a video of some folks striking at the UAW, in which I wrote, Step 1, demand a 40% raise. Step 2, get a 100% pay cut because the company you work for goes bankrupt because it could not afford to pay you an extra 40%. Now, I went on to clarify, these companies can't afford to pay any more, and if the UAW actually cared about its members, they'd actually be negotiating pay decreases. Now, in fairness, look, it'd be great if everybody could get paid more, right? Everyone wants more money. But there's this thing called economic reality, and the legacy automotive manufacturers are already headed for bankruptcy. They need to be violently cutting costs everywhere, not agreeing to pay their workers more. Now, the really horrifying thing is that Sean, psychopath Fain, president of the UAW, is so good at convincing people who, I don't know how to say this politely, so I won't say anything, something bell curve, who don't really understand the mechanics of forcing the company you work for to pay you more than they can afford to, that they deserve more, something, tax the rich, eat the rich, whatever. But some of these dimwits, and I do mean that, sorry, not sorry, some of these dimwits now feel so entitled that they're refusing to accept a multi-double-digit percentage pay increase. I think the final figure is somewhere between 25 to 33% when you factor it all in over time. Yet some of these morons, yes, I did say it, morons, true, it's just these are just the facts, aren't happy with that. So they're not agreeing. Talk about biting the hand that feeds. Now, you do understand that saying, right? If you bite the hand that feeds, guess what? It's going to stop feeding you. And these folks are going to find that out. So today's episode of FAFO has thus concluded.
53% of production workers voted against the deal, and then 65% of skilled trades workers were in favor of the deal, but overall 52% voted against the proposal. So the majority, of course, of workers need to approve the deal for them to actually be ratified. So the UAW will ultimately reveal all of the results, but we're getting some results from some of the local unions. So it doesn't seem to be having a huge impact on shares today, but definitely something to keep an eye on, because just when we thought maybe strike season was wrapping up, might not be the case for the big three.
Yeah, I don't know that people really expected this today. I mean, I was a little surprised when I saw it.
So should we be surprised? Well, what's it saying? Can't fix stupid. Unfortunately, there are many people currently members of the UAW who are stupid. I just don't know how else to say it, honestly. I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just trying to be accurate in describing reality. How dumb do you need to be not to understand the consequences of refusing an already ridiculous, financially unsustainable agreement? It's not enough, I want more, f*** you. I think some of these folks are massively overestimating their value to the marketplace. Now, they might be amazing people, husbands, fathers, sisters, brothers, community members, but in the marketplace, you get paid in proportion to the value you bring. Now, this may be a little bit difficult to swallow. I feel like I've said that before. But the facts are the facts. Just imagine it's 100 years ago and you are an expert at making buggies, you know, the horse and buggy, right? The value you bring to the marketplace, which is now transitioning to automobiles, is plummeting. So even though you might feel entitled to more, look, I've been here for X amount of years, I'm getting better, I'm more efficient. It turns out that the market is the market. And if the company for which you work produces products that are currently being disrupted, the value you're able to bring producing products that nobody wants anymore is decreasing. This is the unfortunate reality these UAW workers find themselves experiencing. Many apparently don't realize this. If these folks really cared about their job security and having a future income, they would actually be agreeing to massive pay cuts and compromises. But hey, like I said, can't fix stupid. So another phenomenally positive day for Tesla and another catastrophic day for Legacy Automotive. What's new? Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. Certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. You get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.